You were following this case. You had been for weeks. And then, without warning, a post appeared. And for a few minutes, just a few, everything stopped. The name on that post was Nancy. And you know exactly which Nancy the world was thinking of. Nancy Guthrie, 84 years old, vanished. The mother of one of the most recognized faces on American television. A woman whose disappearance had already broken into national headlines, true crime communities, and dinner table conversations across the country. The post said she had been located. We are going to tell you exactly what happened next. But first, we need you to understand something. By the time that post appeared, this case had already been carrying an almost unbearable amount of pressure. And we are going to show you precisely how that pressure built, and why it made one single word catastrophic. Stay with us. Because by the end of this video, you will know two things. You will know exactly how a sheriff's post turned relief into outrage in under an hour, and you will know what that outrage actually reveals about the state of this investigation. We promised you both of those answers. We will deliver them. If you have been following Nancy Guthrie's case, subscribe right now and hit the bell. This case is moving. You cannot afford to miss what comes next. But before any of that makes sense, you need to understand how far this case had already fallen before that post ever appeared. Because this confusion did not come out of nowhere. It came out of weeks of silence, pressure, and a family left waiting in the most public way imaginable. We told you we would show you exactly how the pressure built. Here it is. Nancy Guthrie did not disappear quietly. She disappeared in Arizona. And from the moment her name entered the news cycle, it never left. Because her daughter is Savannah Guthrie, co-anchor of NBC's Today Show, one of the most visible journalists in the country, and that one fact changed everything about how this case lived in the public eye. Think about what that means. Every single day without an answer was not just a private family nightmare, it was a national story. Cameras, reporters, social media threads, true crime channels, all of them circling the same unanswered question. Where is Nancy Guthrie? The FBI came in. That alone tells you the weight this case was carrying. The Arizona Republic covered it. KVOA covered it. TMZ, the New York Post, Yahoo News, all of them carrying her name, her face, her story. And yet, through all of it, the core facts never changed. No arrest, no named suspect, no resolution. There were questions about surveillance footage, questions about the timeline, questions about forensic delays that the public could not get straight answers on. And through every unanswered question, the silence from official channels grew louder. We need you to feel that silence. Because Savannah Guthrie was not just a famous daughter waiting for news. She was a daughter doing what any child does when a parent vanishes, holding on, staying visible, keeping the pressure alive. And the public was holding on with her. By the time that sheriff's post appeared, the audience following this case was not just curious. They were emotionally exhausted. They were desperate. They were ready to believe anything that sounded like relief. And that is exactly what made what happened next so devastating. Because what the sheriff's department posted and what the public actually heard were two completely different things. And the space between those two things is where everything exploded. We told you we would show you how relief became outrage in under an hour. This is how. The sheriff's department posted an update. It used the word located, and it used the name Nancy. That is all it took. You already know what happened in your mind the moment you heard those two words together. Your brain did not stop to analyze context. It did not ask which Nancy. It jumped straight to the only Nancy that mattered, Nancy Guthrie. And so did thousands of other people following this case across the country. The post was not about Nancy Guthrie. It referred to a completely different missing woman, a different case, a different person, who happened to share the same first name. And that detail, which in any other context might have been a minor clerical note, landed in this case like a detonation. Here is exactly why that one post caused this level of damage. 5 reasons, and every single one of them matters. 1. The word located is the single most loaded word in any missing person's case. It is the word every family, every follower, every investigator waits to hear. You drop that word without context, and people stop breathing. 2. Nancy Guthrie's name had saturated national media for weeks. And her name did not belong to just a local case anymore. It belonged to the country. 3. The post offered no immediate clarification. The correction came after the explosion had already started. 4. Official communication around this case had already felt inconsistent, so the public was primed to misread anything that came out of that department. 5. The audience was emotionally depleted. Depleted people do not read carefully, they react. The correction arrived, and the reaction to the correction was not relief, it was fury. Tell me in the comments, do you think this was an honest mistake, or do you think something deeper is broken in how this case is being handled? Because this was not the first time, and that is what you need to hear next. Because a single mistake is a mistake, but when you line them up, one after another, they stop looking like accidents. They start looking like a pattern. We need to be precise here. We are not accusing the sheriff's department of malicious intent. We are doing something more uncomfortable than that. We are asking you to look at the record. This post did not happen in isolation. It happened inside a case that had already raised serious questions about official communication. Questions about why certain information reached the public slowly. Questions about why key forensic details, DNA timelines, surveillance specifics, remained vague when the public was demanding clarity. Questions about why a family this visible was still waiting this long without a named suspect. And now this. Here is what communication failure does to a high-profile missing persons case. It does not just frustrate people, it actively damages the investigation. When the public loses trust in official updates, they stop believing the real ones. Tips get buried inside noise. Witnesses who might have spoken up stay quiet. And the family, who needs every credible lead to surface, gets re-traumatized every time an avoidable mistake forces them back into the spotlight for the wrong reasons. The sheriff's post may have been unintentional. The damage to trust is not. That is the hardest thing to sit with here, because intent does not undo impact. And in a case this visible, every word from an official source carries the weight of every unanswered question that came before it. If this case matters to you, share this video right now. More eyes means more pressure. And this case needs pressure. I want to know, do you think the FBI needs to take full control of all public communication around this case? Drop your answer below, yes or no. And through all of this, through every mistake, every correction, every unanswered question, one fact has never changed. We can talk about posts and patterns and institutional failures, but every single conversation about this case ends in the same place. It has to. Nancy Guthrie is still missing. 84 years old, somebody's mother, somebody's grandmother, a real woman with a real name. Not a headline, not a case number, not a cautionary tale about communication strategy. Savannah Guthrie is still a daughter waiting for answers. And if you have followed this case at all, you know that the waiting has never looked easy. It never does. But she has stayed visible. She has kept her mother's name in the conversation. Because that is what you do when the system moves too slowly and the silence becomes unbearable. And you, watching this right now, you are part of why that name stays alive. The people who follow cases like this are not spectators. You are witnesses, and witnesses matter more than most people realize. If you know anything at all about Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, call the FBI directly. The number is 1-800-CALL-FBI. It is in the description below. That call could be the one that changes everything. Tell me what you think happened to Nancy Guthrie, and do you believe this case will ever be solved? I read every comment. Subscribe right now. The moment something breaks in this case, we will be here. Oh, and you need to be here too. Nancy Guthrie deserves an answer. We are not done until she gets one.